The Pulse of Spokane is a broad show that showcases many different things in our community, sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.
Welcome in and thanks for joining us on the Pulse of Spokane. Today, additionally for my second guest back in studio as we're returning to normalcy here at Spokane Talks, I'm joined by Jeff Corkill, biochemistry professor at Eastern Washington University. Just wanted to thank you for taking the time to come out to trudge into the oh-so-dangerous world. How are things on the teaching in the professing front at Eastern? I know that things are online. How has that been as a transition?
Well, it's really been a change. This is my last quarter. I'm retiring after 39 years or so, but it's not quite what I envisaged as my last term. And I actually spent the winter in Mexico on leave, and I came back and they said, oh, by the way, your classes are online. And I've never taught an online class before, so it was quite a learning experience, learning about making videos and using Zoom and using various other IT products and finding out from other people what they were doing. And it's just been different. I just really miss the face-to-face contact.
Yeah, I'm sure this is not nearly close to what you were envisioning for your last quarter before retirement, but not enough to get you to come back another year, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Eastern is staying online in the fall, and I'm glad that, in a way, that it's not part of me, you know, and because I think one of the things that I really enjoyed about teaching all of these years is the contact with students and interaction in the classroom and the labs, and it's just not the same kind of class. You know, you don't really know how everybody's getting along, and the testing, the online testing, it doesn't really give you an idea of how the students are doing. I think it's because it's a different way of testing. You know, everything is multiple choice exams, which I never have used before, and even designing them is a new task for me. You know, usually I have like short essay type questions anyhow, so, and you get to see if students really understand the subject rather than knowing little snippets of information that multiple choice questions do, you know.
I can only imagine. It's interesting to hear from a professor's end that they're also, you yourself, not getting as much out of it because, of course, I have peers that are still in school and they're going through the entire online schooling thing, and I know from them that they feel like they're just sleepwalking through it and that they're not getting enough. Do you think it's even worth, in your humble opinion, conducting online schooling or just scrapping it until you can get that in-person contact again?
I think it's probably worth it. A lot of students, because they're on track of, like, the students in one class are graduating this quarter, so they have to have that class. The other one, the first year class, is for pre-nursing and pre-dental hygienists, and in a way they need that class. They need a sequence of classes to apply there. So if those classes weren't there, then it would be, you know, they'd have to wait hopefully for another time to do it. So I think it's, you know, everybody's had to be flexible in this thing, and you know, I admire the students in their flexibility, and I know my colleagues who are teaching, so like we've spent a lot of time emailing each other, what did you do, and this happened, and we have, the other thing that's been great is a great IT department, you know, who can help. I mean, I just sent one out last night. I deleted something I'd worked on for about 2 hours by mistake.
Oh, geez.
And I thought, oh no, but I emailed them, and they emailed me back and says, oh no, you go to here and you can undelete. And
thank goodness.
You know, so you learn and things. But I think you have to, the university has to do it. You know, it's just, it's going to be, you know, like they used to have in baseball with an asterisk next to the class, you know, and everybody who, you know, is interviewing the students for application knows that that class was done a different way, you know, so, and I think people are prepared to take account of that. Though if it continues, then it's going to change education. It probably will change education anyhow, for good, whether it's K through 12 or university,
It'll be interesting to see in the coming months and years how many ripple effects there are because of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And I think, just as everybody else is, they're making the best out of a poor situation. And so I think it makes sense to not scrap it or put it on hold, but try to do what you can, although it's is not exactly ideal, of course.
The one thing that is really a change is that we obviously can't have labs. And what I teach all have labs, so, and the students really need those kind of labs for the experience of you can talk molecules to the cows come home, but when you're actually in the lab and dealing with solutions and mixing and seeing things happen, then that makes a difference. At the moment, what we're doing for labs is we give them the data that they would have got if they had done the lab, and then they have to interpret the data, which is a sort of it's better than nothing. That's about the only way to describe it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of lab, it sounds like in recent weeks you've been in the lab a little bit yourself with a little side project that you've taken.
Yeah, when I started, I just felt like everybody else, they wanted to do something that would help the community, and my first inquiry to one agency was, no, you're too old, you're in a vulnerable group that we don't really, we'll worry about you picking it up. So I thought, well, there must be something I can do in the lab. And then suddenly I thought, well, we got all the chemicals, we can make sanitizer, So I talked to the lab manager, Fred Joslin, and I said, Fred, do we have the ingredients, the isopropanol, hydrogen peroxide, and glycerol? And he looked and we did, and he'd actually ordered some more for the labs that we didn't actually run this quarter.
Oh, very nice.
So we had the chemicals there. So then the next step was several steps, one of which was getting FDA approval to put the stuff out, and they have much more relaxed, or somewhat more relaxed rules about the composition anyhow, due to a waiver because of the COVID pandemic anyhow. So we got their permission. We had to get permission from the university legal people that we could give away state property, which is what the chemicals were, because they'd been bought on state grants, and because of the COVID, then that was okay there. Then, so we had the chemicals. The bottles we used originally were bought for, we couldn't get them through scientific suppliers, so I actually got them at the Dollar Tree, of all places. We would have run out of them. And then we got, one of my friends is in video computer design, and I asked her if she had a student who'd like to put together a label. So her student, Danielle, did that. We got somebody in marketing who had a friend who's the owner of the Instant Sign Factory who volunteered to do the labels for free. So all of these things came together.
Quite nicely, it sounds like.
Right. So we put it together, Fred and I mixed it up, and it was funny to use such large amounts. I mean, we're talking about liters, because most of my research is done on the milliliter and microliter level. So we were, like bucket chemistry, we used to joke about it anyhow. So we put that around, and then my last job was just to take it around, and I took it to samples of spray bottles and little bottles to in Cheney, to the Cheney police, the Eastern police, the Cheney City Hall, the firefighters, the EMTs, and there's one senior center in Cheney. And then in Spokane, we went to the Union Gospel Mission, the Catholic Charities, who have 6 different places. We went to Second Harvest, the Veterans Home, Spokane Veterans Home, the shelter in the library, and a couple of senior centers on South Hill. So we covered quite a bit. So
That's awesome.
Our hope is, we are, it's not a hope, we restocked our supplies and from last week, so we're going to make another batch and then just go back to those places, and maybe there's some other places people had ideas like, hey, you missed me, So.
Okay, well, again, I'm sure it was the last thing that was on your mind going in and entering your final quarter as a professor. However, it's incredible work in taking that project aside and putting that together for the community and for people that need it. So on behalf of the community, thank you for that. Thank you again for taking the time to be here. I hope that the rest of the quarter is fulfilling as it can be for you, and I hope that you're able to savor the aspects of it that you still get the joy from.
Well, I think I'll never forget my last quarter. I know that.
That's for sure. For as long as you live,
I just hope I can don't have to have a virtual retirement party.
Knock on wood that's not the case. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you anyhow.
Thank you, Jeff. And we'll catch you guys next time on the Pulse of Spokane.
As a community, you've always risen to the occasion. And at Wendell Motors, we want to help you continue that in whatever way we can. We're here to lend you a hand with 0% financing for 84 months and no payments for 90 days on 2020 and 2019 Fords. Unheard of financing on the F-150, Edge, Explorer, Ranger, and more. Our trained staff is following all CDC guidelines. We will deliver the vehicle to you and make the process as seamless as possible. Call us today or visit us online at wendell.com.
Hi, this is Tim Lane with State Farm with your quick winter tip. During the freezing months of winter, protect yourself from an unwanted liability lawsuit. Shovel and de-ice your sidewalks, walkway, and stairs up to your house. Not only is it going to protect and be safe for you and your family, but also visitors and mail and package carriers alike. If guests were to slip and fall on your property, you would be legally liable for their injuries. If you have any coverage questions or would like a second opinion on your insurance, call my team and I at Tim Lane's.
National Barricade and Sign Company is a well-established company founded in 1957. National Barricade has become a well-known business in the Spokane Valley for more than 50 years. Over the years, we have built long-lasting relationships with many cities, counties, and their departments of transportation. Customers come to us because they know they are going to get the best quality service at the best possible price. National Barricade prides itself on getting the job done in a timely manner. We know that contractors must have certain items in a timely fashion to get their job done, and if we don't have it, we will get it. We guarantee fast service no matter how long it takes.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.